Hello guys, today's video is a Christian woman who confronts Charlie, and the way it ends is a little surprising. Let's jump straight into the video and watch.
Hi, Charlie. I see you on TikTok all the time.
You were getting fired up there.
Yes, I was, because, okay, I just want to start this out. I am unaffiliated, but I am a Christian who believes in the right to an abortion. And a lot of the things that you were talking about with her, I really had a lot of answers for that. So the reason I actually wrote this down on a notebook, of course, I was prepared. So the reason why I believe the right to an abortion, why just anyone, if you feel that's what you need to do, then you should do it. Because Matthew 7:1 says, do not judge or you too will be judged. Although Jesus does tell us to tell people, do not sin, it's not our place to judge them, you know? And then another thing that I wanted to bring up, this is crazy, but also the time, I just really want to know why you feel that abortion should be illegal.
Do you think murder should be illegal?
Murder is illegal.
So you think it should be? Do you think it should be illegal?
I just feel like there's a big difference between like a living, breathing human and then a fetus that is inside of another human's body.
Fair enough. What is the difference?
The difference is a fetus is inside of the body. You know what I'm saying? Like a fetus, it can't live on its own.
Got it. So let's go through a couple questions there.
Okay.
Why does somebody's location determine their moral worth?
It doesn't, but it's simply about the fact of if you feel like that's what you need to do with your body, then that's what you do. Because I could also.
Well, hold on a second. If it's not your DNA, how is it your body?
It is your DNA.
No, it's not.
It's a part of you. It's growing in you. It's connected to you by an umbilical cord. It is a part of you.
1 second. It's attached.
A part.
It's attached. Hold on a second. It's attached, not a part.
Same thing.
No, it's actually not. A part, by definition, means it remains permanent.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, okay.
So an attachment is something that is temporary. And so it's not, you are not your mom's DNA. You're not your dad's DNA. You are new deoxyribonucleic acid. So shouldn't we say that if it's not your DNA, it's not your choice?
You know, the minute you put the "you shall not judge" without the full context, I knew it was a rap. Honestly, I knew it was a rap. You know, this scripture said, in fact, let's get in context a little bit. It says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. With the measure you use, it will be used to you." Right? Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Then, how can you say to your brother, "Let me take this speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the plank out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. This is the full context of that verse. You know, it's not telling us to ignore sin. No, it's telling us to reflect on our own, you know, so that, you know, we can, you know, then also what, you know, help others clearly. That's really what he's saying here, you know. Yeah, I mean, the idea is to bring us all closer to God at the end of the day. That's the idea, you know. She really needs to dive deep into the Gospels. I mean, she said, "I'm a Christian." Well, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Let's continue watching the video further.
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, really, I just don't understand how you can use religion to back up your point of...
I haven't used it once. She brought up religion. I'm happy to use a non-religious line of questioning. We all agree murder is wrong.
Okay.
We all agree that it's a human Homo sapien.
Do you agree that the death penalty is wrong?
Well, no, I'm actually in support of the death penalty because people do something that justifies that, but that's a separate issue because the baby in utero did not go...
So what about the people who could possibly be proved innocent who have been awaiting their death sentence?
Fair enough. That's a good argument. but it's separate, right? So there's been about 31 exonerations of posthumous people that have been exonerated of the death penalty. We're talking about a baby that did nothing wrong except exist.
Okay.
In utero. And there's about 1.5 million of them that just get discarded every year. So we agree murder is wrong. We agree it's a homo sapien, meaning it's a human being. Therefore, murder is the forcible termination of a homo sapien. Therefore, shouldn't abortion be wrong and illegal?
I still feel like it really, like, okay, for example.
But prove to me why.
You said,
You use an ABC logical equation, right? So tell me under what standard, therefore, very simple, right? You're in college, you guys do this all the time, right? I hope so. So use an ABC, right? Aristotelian logic, whatever you want to use. Use an ABC sequence for me. Not
my
I feel.
reasoning why I believe that abortion should be legal is because of instances like rape and incest, but I already know that your belief on that because you've already stated that if your daughter were to be raped at 10 years old, you would make her give birth to the baby.
Well, the baby would be delivered, and let me tell you why. And so, but first of all, let me try to find common ground.
Okay.
If I say we will make rape and incest abortions legal and get rid of all the other abortions, would you agree with that?
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
If I say that we will allow abortions to continue for rape and incest life of the mother, but all other abortions should be illegal, which is 99.4% of the time, can we make those 99% of abortions illegal?
Yeah, see, I don't believe that abortion should be used as a form of birth control.
So 99% of the time it is. That's all that we're debating in the country right now. So Charlie Kirk's position is a very fringe minority. People are talking about still exceptions, so we should get rid of 99% of abortions.
Yes, but at the same time...
So you're actually not that pro-choice, actually.
But I am, because I feel like there's no way to kind of divide the basis of like what abortion is being used as birth control and what abortion is being
it's totally easy, actually. I mean, so you could tell through a DNA test if it's an incest baby.
Yeah, remember Jeremiah 1 verse 5, it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." Yeah, that's scripture, I mean, she says, "I'm a Christian." Honestly, I don't know, man. I do not know about that. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you can start a sentence, with "I am Christian," then followed by "I believe in abortion." You see? I mean, it doesn't do well for me. I mean, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's actually sad to hear someone say that they support that. And not only that, then use the scripture out of context, It's crazy, I mean, for one, the devil does the same thing. He uses scripture out of context to support his worldly views, And that's a serious thing. It's serious. Anyways, let's watch the video further.
You could tell if it's rape because they have to file a police report, and you could tell life of the mother based on an OBGYN analysis. So
then if it's that easy, then why have we not done that?
Oh, because the American people don't support it. Because abortion is popularly supported as a form of birth control. That's why. So your position is actually a very rational one, and I respect you for it. 99% of all abortions are done just because people want the baby gone. 99%. That's not Charlie Kirk's numbers. That's the Guttmacher Institute, which was funded by Planned Parenthood.
Okay. So do you feel as though people who are victims of rape and incest, do you think that they should be able to get an abortion?
So just so we can agree on the 99%, then I'm going to try to win you over on the other percent. Okay. Got it. So we're good on the 99. Get rid of those abortions.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Somebody in this audience was conceived in rape. Can you tell me who?
No.
Nah.
Why? I thought that they're less human.
Those words never came out of my mouth.
No, I know, but the insinuation of allowing rape for abortion is that they're not as human, therefore they should be murdered.
No, that's not the. It's more about the mental toll that it would take on the mother to have that
I totally
baby.
acknowledge the mental toll, but shouldn't the human being conceived in rape still get human rights?
Yes, but it should be more up to the mother who has to carry the baby and who has to push it.
Well, hold on, let's play that out. So even though the mom has to push it, do you still have a right to terminate somebody? Can you take away human rights if your life's going to get difficult to somebody else? If somebody else is making your life difficult, can you take away their human rights?
No, but at the same time, that's where like the question comes in, that it should be up between the person, like the.
But why? By
the
what
patient and their
standard is that
doctor.
okay? For example, if a single mom has 2 kids and all of a sudden she loses her job and one of the kids is super annoying and has a learning disability, should she be able to murder that kid because it's an inconvenience to her?
No.
No, of course not.
Not after, like.
But why is it that all of a sudden you get considered a human being after birth, but before birth you're not?
Because after birth, you can, you're kind of living on your own.
It saddens, that a young woman like this lady here, still needs to be taught what responsibility is. I mean, it's sad, ladies and gentlemen, if you come to think of it. It's sad. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, all these problems, they end when we make God the foundation of every decision, action, and thought, in your life. I mean, clearly, a lot of problems and challenges, they will end when we make God the foundation of our lives, seek His guidance, you see, before making choices. Trust in His wisdom and align your goals with His purpose. That's the solution. Let His love and the truth shape your relationships, work, daily activities, ensuring that He remains at the center of all that you do in life. Come on, when you prioritize God above all else, He will direct your path. Yes, He will. Strengthen your faith and bless your journey abundantly. That's His specialty. God specializes in changing lives. Yeah. I think that's, something that has been lost now, especially these younger generations. And it's time to go back to that place where we always put God first, in everything. Well, let's watch the video further.
You're kind of living on your own. You're not in the mother's body.
No, you're not. Hold on. I have a 6-month-old. My baby is not living on its own.
Not living on its own, but it can breathe on its own.
Hold on a second. Over 500,000 babies every year are born in NICU, which require, which is a prenatal assistance, breathing assistance, digestive assistance, and so. Are they not human because they can't have any viability? The point is that the standard doesn't apply, right? Let me ask you one more hypothetical, and it's a good question. Then I'll do a Christian one because you say you're a Christian on that. I have 2 ultrasounds. Mm-hmm. One ultrasound is a baby that was conceived in rape. The other ultrasound is a baby conceived in a loving relationship. Which one is which?
There's no that.
There's
like
no
I've
difference.
said
You're
multiple
right.
times, there's no difference in the physical appearance of it, but the complete difference is the mental toll that it would take on the mother and the person who has to carry the baby for 9 months.
Hold on. Let's be clear. There's a mental toll when you have an abortion too. So it's not as if it's a get out of jail card.
No, I completely understand that.
So it's a tough, difficult, horrible situation. Yeah. But shouldn't we be that the worst outcome after an evil is to just murder the being? Yeah.
No.
Why punish the baby for the crime of some guy that raped the mother? Why all of a sudden have 2 victims unnecessarily?
Well, okay, let's say the mother who is raped births the baby. What if she hates the baby? Like, what if she just cannot care for the baby? Like, what if the baby comes out and she hates the baby because she got raped?
Well, there are 2 million families right now waiting to adopt children.
I think that she's not listening to understand, I think she just wanted to try to prove that she is right, But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Truth doesn't care about feelings. In other words, the truth doesn't care about your feelings. No. When we always hear, it's my body, it's my body, it's my body. But the question is, does it have its own brain? Does it have its own heart? Does it have its own DNA? If the answer is yes, then clearly that's another person in there. They always use the word fetus. But no, it's actually somebody, just because that baby in you needs you, it doesn't mean that it's your choice to dispose, I don't think that's right. I don't think so. I mean, logical reasoning, it seems like it is escaped, so many today. Like literally. I mean, she's still young, and hopefully she will find, common sense someday, And I feel like this is where Charlie belongs, and I hope he keeps at it, coming in, filling in the gap, educating these youngsters. I mean, too many parents nowadays are absent, literally. And Charlie is teaching these kids, a lot of what those parents should be doing. Like, to be honest, Yeah. I know it can get maybe old for him, but I hope he keeps on at it, I hope Charlie keeps doing what he's doing. We need him, ladies and gentlemen. We surely do. We surely do. Well, let's watch the video further and finish off the video. Let's jump in.
Well, there are 2 million families right now waiting to adopt children.
Okay.
So put it up for adoption. There are 2 million loving families that can't find kids.
I just find that very interesting because the adoption process is actually very difficult in America.
It is difficult. We can make it easier. But again, the issue is that there is a demand of families that want the babies.
Okay, and my last question that you had started to answer, but you didn't answer what you said you were going to, was why, if your daughter were to be impregnated by rape, why would you force her to have the baby?
Well, first of all, because we don't murder in our family.
Okay.
Would you murder in your family?
No, but at the same time, I've done a little bit of research, and I just wanted to let you know that the chance of a 10-year-old surviving giving birth, and her baby,
the full question was if...
is below 10%. So in reality, if you want your child to have a baby at 10 years old, you're not pro-birth. You're not pro-life. You're pro-birth.
Okay, again, to be very clear, I said if there was no issue with the mother's health. And understand, this is an extreme, hyper-personal example that someone used, and I'm happy to own it, but let's just be clear. Why is that example getting people so fired up? Because it's easy to say that you can murder a baby if it's small and that it's just, quote-unquote, a clump of cells.
No, I think that one instance got people so fired up because the age of your daughter and just because of the likelihood that she would survive and the baby would survive.
No, my answer was that if there were no medical complications. So you don't even remember the full answer. People get why does the age matter? Tell me why all of a sudden the age of the carrier matters.
Because that improves the infant mortality rate. Like the older you are, the more likely you are to be able to carry a baby to term.
No, I know, but
the younger you are, the higher the infant and mother mortality rate goes.
I said with no other medical issues though. But why? I'm curious though.
Because with age comes medical issues with birth.
I said with no other medical issues though. So you have to understand the preface there. I want to understand though. Maybe you can help me understand why the women of America are so enthusiastic about the right to be able to kill preborn babies. Help me understand.
I think it's more of just the ability to be able to do what you feel is necessary for your body.
I think that's right. It's narcissism. I think you're totally right. It is weaponized medical narcissism. I'm in charge of the world.
No, I'm in charge of my body. Not in charge of the world, but of my body.
Makes sense. So even though it's not your body and it's a different body in you, I'm the most important thing in the world. And that makes sense because you just connected the dots. We have the most narcissistic female generation in history, and abortion is the culmination in that. Thank you for connecting the dots. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, Charlie, you're truly blessed by God, man. I mean, literally, your fruits show. See, I mean, you are wise, Thank you for sharing wisdom to these kids around the world, Yeah, thank you so much. And I hope, I wish you well, well in your business, ministry, and family. Yeah, I mean, the dedication, the hard work, the compassion, I mean, it truly makes the difference, in their lives, The impact Charlie has had, I mean, it's immeasurable. And, I mean, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you. Thank you so very much for what you do, brother. And keep on being an incredible influence that you are. Yeah, literally. Literally. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will end with this, Bacteria on Mars would be considered life, but a heartbeat on Earth isn't. That's sad. Well, I'll see you again next time. It's bye bye for now.